Hey, Eric.
John,
How you doing tonight?
how's it going?
It's going good. It's
That's
going good.
5 years of how's it going tonight. Coming up on 6 years.
I am a man of repetition. Yeah,
Why mess with what works?
right. Like, what happened? Oh, like just yesterday, my wife was busy in the evening, and so, she, I had taken out some hamburger to thaw to make burgers, but we forgot, so we ate them tonight. But last night, so she was like, "Well, what did you and the boys do for dinner?" I'm like, "I just made sandwiches. Like, cut up an apple and had sandwiches. Like, I'm pretty sure I could eat a sandwich every day. Like, every day. I don't. Yeah. No. So it's all good. It's all good.
Simple pleasures.
Exactly. So, how was your weekend?
Good, I guess. I don't
Do you
remember
remember
doing
your weekend?
anything big on the weekend. Oh, my boy and he loves astronomy and that kind of stuff, and he has a fancy pants camera so he can take cool pictures. OMSI, Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, was sponsoring a star party
Ooh.
up at Stubb Stewart State Park. So kind of
Okay.
up on the top of the hill on Friday night, Saturday night.
No,
It
wait.
was Saturday night.
Stubb Stewart's up towards Vernonia.
Yes. Yeah, you
Okay.
head up towards Vernonia, yeah. So Stubb Stewart is up there, and they were hosting a star party.
Okay.
And they had a bunch of OMSI telescopes and then a whole bunch of additional. There were probably a couple hundred people up there. It was pretty crowded, but you just kind of found a spot. My boy had his tripod up and a camera, and we took turns walking around and observing various things through other people's much more high-powered telescopes. We got one of the OMSI telescopes was, because the moon was only quartered, so it was only a quarter moon, which they say that's the best time to actually look at the moon if you want to see detail because it's not so bright.
Okay. Makes sense.
If it's a full moon, it's a lot harder to get good visual because it's just so bright. And you could see all the craters, and you could actually see depth of the craters, not just, it was amazing how we could see that. And several others, just for fun. So he tried taking some pictures of the moon just through his camera with some extended length, and it doesn't fill the frame, but when you zoom in, you can see the craters of the moon on his camera.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the pictures he was able to get.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we stayed till about midnight. You had to get a special pass to stay after 10 p.m. The park closes at 10 p.m. unless you're camping overnight.
Okay.
So we had to get special passes to stay late. And OMSI said, we'll be here till everybody decides to leave. So I think OMSI was there probably till 2 or 3 in the morning, just
Wow.
helping people check stuff out and dark sky and all that stuff. So
Now, were they pointed at any of the other planets?
yes, you could see Venus. Like the Andromeda Galaxy was actually below the tree line, so you couldn't see that. There was unfortunately a bit of haze in the atmosphere, so you couldn't make out a lot of stuff. And the rest of the planets were also below the. I think Venus was the only one that was visible. That was the only other one that we tried to look at. And we're looking through the telescopes. It was a dot still, but the moon was the prime candidate for looking at
The star of the show,
night.
so to speak.
Yes, so to speak. So, but
That's
it
cool.
was
That's
a
exciting.
good time.
I assume it was
was
a very dark up there as far as artificial lights went.
I was surprised at how late, it was not as dark as you would think. I mean, it was 11 o'clock, and you could still see walking around just fine. I was surprised. Part of it is the summer hours. It's kind of up a little bit higher, but the sun didn't set. And even though that's 45 minutes outside the city or half hour outside kind of major city areas, there was still a lot of light pollution in the air. You could still kind of see it in the air. And I think part of that was because it was a little bit hazy, so it was reflecting the light back down.
Yeah.
But it was, he got pictures of the Big Dipper. He got pictures of, like I said, the moon. We got pictures of the little tiny dot that was Venus. But his more fun pictures that he got that he really liked a lot better were the silhouette of trees against the sunset at various stages as the sun went down, as it got, it went from the reds and oranges to the blues. So he got a bunch of
that's cool.
those pictures. Those were
that's awesome. Fun. I might have to crack out our old camera before October 14th, I think, is when that partial solar eclipse is going to be that we're going to be going down to Southern Oregon for. So, I'm sure. When was that? 2017. Yeah. So that probably predated our doing the podcast. Was when the solar eclipse was in Oregon,
spanned across Oregon. Yeah.
And that was such an experience. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. And I still have, or we have, 3 of the photos that I didn't take because we had a, phone cameras, but there was a guy there that had a really good camera that took a couple photos of sort of the right before, right during, and then right after, as I forget what they call it, there's some halo or ring where you're just seeing a little bit of light coming out, and anyway, we still have those on, printed on glass up in our kind of hallway up on the wall.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that again.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So anyway, yeah, that's cool.
Yes, it was fun.
That's awesome.
How about you?
So I had a bit of an adventure this weekend because my older boy and I drove. So I left work at noon on Thursday, and he and I hopped in the car and drove 5 hours down to Klamath Falls, which is where
southern Oregon.
Yeah, very, very southern Oregon, which is where he's going to be going to school next year for essentially freshman. I guess it wasn't freshman orientation. They call it New Wings, but it was to register for classes, get a chance to look at the dorms, get a chance to talk with an advisor, for the class planning bit, and just spend a little bit of time on campus and go for another tour if you wanted to, although we didn't. But it was good.
How was it?
Yeah, I remain extraordinarily positive about his choice, and I think it's going to be really good for him. The advisor we talked to was one of the professors in mechanical engineering, and she was like, well, your first 2 years you pretty much got a set of classes. you gotta get through all the prereqs and but that after that you'll get a little more flexibility and choice in which direction you want to go. But he was like, I kind of want to do more robotics. And she was like, oh, well, I advise the robotics club. So join the robotics club.
There you go.
And so anyway, but yeah, I think it'll be cool. The first term classes are pretty much, intro to engineering, math. There's a technical writing and chemistry. So, and chemistry lab. And so, that's the 14 credits or something like that, kind of kind of start with. But I'm really excited for him. I think it's going to be a great experience. And
Cool.
yeah, but so we'll take him down. I think it starts sometime mid or late September. So take him down, drop him off, let him go, and then basically we'll be back like 3 weeks later for the eclipse. Because when we heard that this was months and months ago, when we heard there's going to be a solar eclipse, but only visible in Southern Oregon, and Klamath Falls was right in this strip of where it will be visible. My wife and I were like, well, we know what we're going to be doing. So
there you go.
I've had an Airbnb registered or reserved for for a long time. And that's all he and I did. We reserved an Airbnb, and it was great. We went down Thursday night because it basically started at 8:00. You had to register before that.
Right.
We'd already registered, but you had to come in, and they have a whole packet and a personalized schedule with an advisor meeting time and all that kind of jazz. But
right,
but you're certainly not. Definitely get there the night before so that you could be there, bright and early the next morning. And then he and I, stayed Friday night as well there. And then just kind of had a leisurely Saturday morning, and then basically drive home Saturday, which took a good chunk of the day. So
right.
it was good. Checked my bees on Sunday.
Fun.
They're doing good, and
okay.
No honey up top though.
Still have 7 hives. Is it?
So 1, 2.
I don't remember if it was
3.
6 or 7.
I think I had 4 with a possibility of 7. I now have 5 with the possibility of 7. So confirm that one of the queens came back and is laying happily.
Okay.
Number 6, I saw eggs, and they looked like queen eggs. Like, they didn't look like laying workers, which is a possibility if they can't create a queen in time and they run out of eggs out of which to make a queen. Sometimes the workers will start laying, and that's a whole big mess of problems. But I could not find the queen in there, so I figured give it another week, and I'll go in. Actually, probably this Friday, because Saturday I head out to go camping. But this Friday afternoon, if I can, I haven't looked at my schedule, but if I can sneak out late Friday afternoon, I might go and double check, because I gotta check to the number 6 and number 7 and see if they've got queens come back yet. But so far so good. 2 of the ones that I had split off have queens back and laying, and remember back when I got the nukes and I split off that first one, that queen is laying up a storm. That colony was so full, I put a honey super on this past weekend. So nice. She's packed out 2 deep boxes of bees, and so hopefully she'll be making me some honey. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
So far, nothing.
So you're going camping for 4th of July.
I am.
I take it. I think that's what the camping this weekend trip is.
Yeah. So I won't be back actually till next Wednesday, the 5th. So when we talk Wednesday night, I will have come back from camping. But yeah, so I like to take the boys up to Washington to the beach where they do crazy fireworks, and we've been doing this for a good number of years now, and so. With
as an observer,
my older, well, I mean, we've bought fireworks a few years, but we learned after the first couple that it's almost more fun to watch other people burn their money up than light money off yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do. This year's going to be kind of special though, or kind of fun, because my parents are around the area, and they're actually heading out there now. Actually, they're heading that direction at least. And then my brother's going to drive out from Tacoma, and my other brother's going to fly out from California. And the four of us, the three brothers and my dad, are going fishing on Monday out of Ilwaco.
Nice.
My boys didn't want to go fishing, but they can sit in the camp and play PlayStation, which is fine.
I love
camping with air. Yeah, I'm making air quotes. Yes, but yeah, so that'll be totally fun. So I'll have my parents will be out there. Her sister might come out, my kids, and then both my brothers. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know.
Well, I will let you know next week how I have never smoked a brisket before.
Oh.
And I have decided that that's what I want to do for 4th of July this year. So
challenge accepted.
Accepted. Yes, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m, get my stuff all going, because 4th of July. The last few years, we've gone to a group of neighbors have got together down the street from where I live, and we all bring a potluck, and the guy usually provides the meat, and then everybody else in the neighborhood provides side dishes or drinks or whatever. And so I have not told him that I'm cooking a brisket, because if it fails miserably, we'll just take the I don't know if we're salad or dessert what we're doing this year, but if we have the brisket, though, no one complains if there's extra meat.
No.
So
no.
My wife's like, well, should we tell him? I'm like, no, because if it messes up, I don't want to take it. But if it's really good, I'm going to take it.
That's pretty funny.
That'll be my fun for the 4th of July.
Low and slow.
I have been watching YouTube videos, lots of them, and most of them are like 12 common mistakes people make when doing brisket.
Oh,
and a lot of it is around not cutting off enough fat or cooking it at too high a temperature because you want, or not letting it. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So, all right, okay. I think I can do this.
It's like a science, or
I have watched YouTube
it's
videos.
Maybe more an art. Actually, to be honest,
yeah.
Sorry. I've cooked a few briskets, and they've all been okay, but I don't know that any of them have been like amazing,
awesome. Well,
I will. But now you're making me jealous.
You know.
Maybe I. Okay, yeah. Let me know how it goes.
I will let
you know how it goes.
Alrighty.
Fun. All right. Well, hey, how about a topic?
So, I stumbled across something I don't think I'd ever seen. Well, I don't recall ever having seen before, and it was an article about electromagnetic fault injection. So this is a cybersecurity attack, and how an electromagnetic fault injection attack works.
Isn't this how you shut down the alien spaceship?
Yes.
An EMP?
Exactly. An EMP. Well, so that's what I was, but what it allows you to do is inject voltage into, the chip, the structure, the die itself, to flip bits in a register or somewhere, or cause temporaries in reading voltage levels. And so this is kind of like this electromagnetic thing. And where I stumbled across it on was an article that a security research firm, IOActive, did, that they were able to exploit a weakness using this electromagnetic fault injection attack against drones. So we haven't talked about drones for a while, but they're still, you see more and more of them. They're still kind of on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Chat GPT and the AI stuff has kind of stolen all the news headlines. At least we stopped talking about cryptocurrency for a while, but drones are still in there. So this is an attack that allows a target that, if they can inject that the electromagnetic glitch, at just the right time during a firmware update, they can gain code execution on the processor and basically potentially. I mean, this is all theoretical, right? This is, hey, we can do X, and if we can do X, theoretically, we could do anything we want, kind of thing, right? So that so you could gain code execution on the main processor, access to the Android OS. They did it on the what's the famous the most popular Mavic DJ.
Yeah.
Mavic. Those consumer drones are the most popular ones out there. So they did it as that. It's.
But I'm sorry. So did they bricked it or they?
They were able to actually take control. So they got it to function, but it was it wasn't the device flying in the air and they did it remotely kind of thing, right? It was, we have all the hardware. I mean, if you need
it's an evil maid sort of thing.
Yeah, they're soldering stuff on the board to see if they could do stuff, So it was. So there was a white paper. If you go to the, I'll link the Hacker News kind of summary article.
Okay.
But inside there, you could go to IOActive's actual white paper which has all the gory details on what they did. But the main thing I just thought was interesting was the whole electromagnetic fault injection attack that's going there. You put some kind of metal coil, this EM probe, close to the surface of the processor, and as the current flows through the coil, it can actually mess with what's going on in the processor. You can make the CPU do things with this kind of side channel attack is basically what it is, similar to other side channel attacks we've talked about in the past. Uh-huh. So you can either just corrupt it, you can, in theory, take control over it by interrupting registers doing whatnot and make them do what you want. So just an interesting thing that I hadn't heard of before that, to paraphrase another Jurassic Park quote, cybersecurity finds a way. Hackers find a way, right?
Yeah.
Life finds a way, hackers find a way.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
That's what I got this week.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. The articles, yeah. I mean, it looks like they ripped it apart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
Can we do something? And first step is understanding all the parts and then slowly work backwards.
Right.
And pretty soon you're pointing a laser at a drone in the sky and.
Right.
That kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Don't point lasers at things flying in the sky.
No.
Kids. No. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's an interesting article.
What do you got?
The topic I brought tonight was, you may have noticed that your iPhone and iPads should have gotten updated to 16.5.1.
Yep.
If they have not, you should update them now. But one of the security defects that was fixed in there was one in which some Kaspersky employees found on their own devices. So,
is this follow-up from the one that we talked about a few weeks ago? Or is this something even new again?
I thought we had talked about something a bit ago. And so maybe. But I don't think so. Like I hadn't
Or maybe Kaspersky just has a bunch of stuff happening on that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, could be. I mean, but so they Kaspersky are calling this TriangleDB. But it's a memory only implant. It says the implant, which we dubbed TriangleDB, is deployed after the attackers obtain root privilege on the target iOS device by exploiting a kernel vulnerability. Reboot will remove all traces of the device. So if the victim reboots their device, attackers have to reinfect it by sending an iMessage with a malicious attachment. And I do remember that being a malicious attachment zero click device not too long ago. So maybe this is the fault, essentially the same thing, but now with a fix available. Even if the device hasn't been rebooted, the implant will uninstall itself after 30 days unless it receives a command to basically push that off. But so there were a couple of other interesting things in this article. The first of which is from the C2 server. So they reversed, I think they said 24 commands from the command and control server that could be done. So things like CRX show tables, CRX configure DB server, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The commands will allow things like interacting with the file system, so create, modify, exfiltrate, and remove or delete files, interacting with processes, listing, terminating, etc., dumping items in the keychain, which, that's where Apple devices store passwords and certificates and stuff like that. Monitoring geolocation. And then there is some form of a plugin capability where they can, reflectively load modules that are downloaded. So, once a device is compromised, they can run other items. So that was the first thing. Is like pretty substantial, seemingly targeted towards, at least in this case, some Russian. What was that? There was an article we recently read that, I recently read that phrased it like they didn't say they were Russian people. They said Russian speaking. So I don't know. I think Kaspersky has been pretty vociferous about no, we're not a Russian company. But anyway, the other thing, the other sort of section that I found really interesting in this article was it wasn't there very long of an article, to be honest. So I suspect there's going to be they're going to sort of milk this for a bunch of different articles, but. What they called curious details. So there's a phrase called unmunging. So it says the developers refer to string decryption as unmunging, as it's called. Let's see, the function was crconfig unmunge hex string. That seems like a pretty interesting. Maybe English-centric verb. Second thing is that it says, quote, throughout the code, we observe that different entities were given names from database terminology, which is the reason why we dubbed the implant TriangleDB. And if you, their they said developer terminology that they used for the entry, it was table, record, schema, index, row, DB server for the command and control server, DB status, diagnostic data, transaction, query. I don't know why they called iOS application an operation, but anyway, so that's kind of interesting sort of terminology. Third, it says, while analyzing TriangleDB, we found that the class crconfig, which is used to store the implant's configuration, has a method named populate with fields macOS only. So it's not called anywhere in the iOS implant, but might be an indication that components of it are multi-platform, which is interesting. And what do they say? They say, quote, however, its existence means that macOS devices can also be targeted with a similar implant. I don't know that I would say can also. I would probably use the word may, but... and then the last thing for the curious details It says the implant requests multiple entitlements from the operating system. Some of them are not used in the code, such as access to camera, microphone, address book, or interaction with devices via Bluetooth. Thus, functionalities granted by these entitlements may be implemented in modules. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, but it's also kind of curious that it still has to get entitlements from the operating system. I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about that, but there not enough details in this article for that. But so anyway, so that was the article I pulled out, and I believe both my devices, my phone and iPad, are updated to 16.5.1. But if yours are not, you should do so right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have done so.
And did you look up while I was talking? Is it the same thing we referenced a couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
an extension.
It's a follow-up. It's more details, because I think the first one was in 287, so just 3 episodes ago.
Okay.
And it was kind of, we just saw this, we don't know much about it, and then just comparing the articles. This new one is, all right, now we have more details. So
okay,
but it is the same. They use the same logo on top of both blog posts. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. And I just confirmed on my phone that it is updated to 16.5.1. So there you go.
Yeah. Just always keep your stuff up to date.
Yeah. It's a good plan. Just let it update.
Yeah. You're a Billy Joel fan. I know this.
I am.
I think we have both seen him in concert. A lot of fun. Fall Out Boy did a cover of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Okay.
Right. So there's "We Didn't Start the Fire," Billy Joel, and it's a lot of he rapid fires events of the day from the 60s and 70s, right? Because that was when the song came out, and that was that era. Fall Out Boy did a cover of the song, but replaced all the events of the day with current events today. Yes.
Really?
It is really quite good. So that's my real something fun. I credit to my wife. She found that. I don't remember where she did. I can't remember where she said she saw it, and she sent it to me earlier, like an hour ago. And I listened to it and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. So on the list of something to listen, I like Fall Out Boy already. They have a number of songs that I already like anyways. And this one is still in their same, style. So it's not just a straight cover. They did their little twist to it. But it's "We Didn't Start the Fire" with current events.
Okay, I totally will listen to that. As soon as you and I hit stop record, I will listen to that.
It's great. And you got to listen to it a couple times because it's so rapid fire fast, you're missing
I have no doubt.
So a lot of fun. So there's my actual something fun. Fall Out Boy, "We Didn't Start the Fire" with current events.
Okay.
An update. Well done, I thought.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, the article I saw this week that I thought was amazing looking was an extension to Midjourney. So Midjourney's image generation service, AI powered, and the art. So this is an Ars Technical article. I'll put in the show notes here. It says stunning in Midjourney update wows AI artists with camera-like features. But the main thing that, at least the imagery within the article, is just amazing, is what they call Zoom Out. And so this isn't new. Oh, nobody's done this before, right? I mean, Dolly did what they called out painting before. And Photoshop has a generative fill feature, but in this case, you can. It'll only let you do it on images that were generated by Midjourney, but you can take an image from Midjourney and then basically zoom out, and it'll create, the surroundings around what it is. So, there's two examples of images in this article, one of which is a quote female warrior that looks like it's just a close up of her face with some armor and stuff on, but then as you zoom out, it puts her in the woods, kind of with light behind her, and very cool. And then the second one is it was like a barbarian. What'd they say out on the quote? A muscular barbarian with weapons beside a CRT television set, cinematic 8K studio lighting. So, and that image is amazing. But then as you zoom out, it basically builds the room around this barbarian. And I mean, it is impressive. Mm-hmm. So I thought this was like visually stunning. And so I don't know. So this is, what does it see? It says it has to be done on Midjourney 5.2, but that is now the default. Let's see. There was a little. I'm just trying to look at the little notes a little bit. So there's some more settings and stuff that they've added. But I think Midjourney still is embroiled in a little bit of controversy because it's trained on images that were pulled off the internet, but that they don't really have rights to use. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets resolved at some point in time. But this is also, I'm not really in this world, but what do they call this? Synthography. Image synthesis art form, sometimes called synthography.
Huh.
So like I said, I'm not really in this world, but so synthography.
So there I heard a side note. Today at work, I was on a call and someone was used the term related to how an artificial intelligence like ChatGPT can come up with a incorrect answer, asserting it's true, as a hallucination.
AI hallucination?
I had never heard that before. I thought I was pretty familiar with at least general terminology about it. And maybe I had heard it and just it never sunk in until someone started using it multiple times in a call today.
You're like, are you just making that up? Like, I had heard of that. I had heard of that.
It's very easy to understand what the intent of the word was in the context, but I just had never heard it referred to as a hallucination. That kind of cracks me up that an AI can hallucinate. Right.
Totally. Well, hey, last point on this article. If you actually go look at the article, in kind of, I guess, mid part of the article, there's a series of images with the same prompt with output from Midjourney 3, 4, 5, and 5.2. So, just the amount of advancement is crazy. So,
it is amazing.
Very cool.
All right, dude.
All right, my friend. Call it a show.
It's a show.
And I will let you know how camping goes and fishing. We'll see.
And I'll let you know how the brisket goes.
Oh, yeah.
And if I remember and it's good, I will save you some.
Oh, all right. I'm good for that. I'm good for that. All right. Enjoy.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
See you, John.
Bye.
Bye.